Castellano going to work on Runaway Luke, trying to hold off this competition. Can he do it? Runaway Luke's going to get there, and Javier Castellano has won 5,000 career races.
History has already been made at Belmont Park today as Javier Castellano was his 5,000th victory earlier today. He's already looking for 6,000 as he rides Take Charge Aubrey in our Empire Distaff. And of course the Evan Shipman. That was a very, very tight finish. Those horses will be rematching in the Empire Classic, and that includes today's morning line favorite, Pat on the back. The New York Breds are on display as Belmont Park Live is back, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. A beautiful fall afternoon at Belmont Park as the New York Breds have been striking their stuff all day long. We've got 4 races, the late pick 4 here at Belmont Park, and welcome to a wonderful afternoon of racing. Andy Serling from New York Racing Association, very happy to be joined by David Aragona from the Daily Racing Forum. David, excited about the New York Breds?
Yeah, it's great to be here. We already saw some great stakes action today, and we've got some of the best stakes action still ahead. The Empire Distaff and the upcoming Sleepy Hollow are 2 of the most wide-open races of the day.
No, I agree. We're going to start off with a very, very open race. But of course, the Empire Classic, the big one, that'll be race number 10. The third race will be showing, and the Evan Shipman. I'm not sure necessarily that he was the best horse that day, but Can You Dig It got the money in here. But both Pioneer Back and Control Group ran very well in finishing second and third. They'll rematch today around 2 turns, the Evan Shipman.
Yes, Control Group got hounded early in this Evan Shipman. Pat on the back was chasing him. Got there at the end, but they were both run down by Can You Dig It, who really got the perfect trip. We'll see if a fast pace develops again today.
I agree. And even the 4th place finisher that day, Why Not, is back, and he's not impossible as well. It's an absolutely terrific matchup. It's always a great day of racing on Empire Showcase Day, and no better way for you to bet the races than to bet them through Naira Bets. And use that promo code Belmont Live. Sign up now. Bet 200, get 200, and enjoy all the many great things that Naira Bets has to offer. Today's races on the program, well, we've already hinted at what we'll be showing, but here's the lineup. We start out with race number 8, the 2-year-old males, the Sleepy Hollow at 1 mile, followed by the Empire Distaff, followed by the Empire Classic. The last race off the turf at 7 furlongs on the fast main track, and the main track is fast. All of today's races on the show will be run in the dirt, 3 of them stakes. All of them for New York Breds. We want to, of course, remind you that today's weather and track conditions are presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on. Pests off. Sleepy Hollow field slate. The 2-year-olds, they're lining up. 12 2-year-olds are going postward. We have 16 entered, 4 came out of the race, 12 are running. The 3rd member of our team, Maggie Wolfendale, our paddock report, brought to you by Hillendale, currently standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie, how the 2-year-olds looking in the paddock?
Well, this is a pretty deep field, Andy, from what I can work.
Hopefully we'll get back to Maggie in a moment in the paddock. But, David, a very interesting field. Now, the question really here is not necessarily talent, because I do think you'll agree that the favorite, Dugout, the 6, is the most talented member of the field, but he's got to get that mile distance in a race that could feature a fast pace.
Yeah, he's won all 3 of his starts in very fast time. Just looking at speed figures, he's got a significant edge on this field, but stamina is going to be a real question because he's bred to be a sprinter. He's never really been tested beyond 6.5 furlongs before, and he's going to get hounded early by other speeds in this race.
It's hard to see him right on the front end. Now, last time, this is actually the funny side up in Saratoga. He beat Bankit and Bustin' to Be Loved, who will meet again today. But even this race, he dueled, and he dueled with Bankit. He's probably not even going to be able to make the front today, David.
Yeah, the surface in this race was somewhat speed favoring, so he was with the track from that perspective. But he ran well next time out at Finger Lakes. He's a very consistent horse in a race where others have not attained his level of performance yet.
We teased you with it before, but she's still with us. Maggie Wolfendale is standing by in the paddock.
Thank you, Andy. And we will start with your current lukewarm favorite, and that is number 6 in here, Dugout, as he looks to remain undefeated and secure his 4th career victory and 3rd in Stakes company in this Sleepy Hollow. But he will be attempting to go the furthest he has so far in his career, as he will go from the 6 to the mile here today. Now, I've read that his trainer, Larry Ravelli, feels as though he's a special type of horse that very well could be capable of getting the stretch out, especially around one turn. But looking at him and thinking about his pedigree, he doesn't necessarily convince me. And 2, he's gotten pretty keyed up. He will be leaving the paddock first and hitting the track before the others. Number 1, on the other hand, is Poppy's Destiny, finishing a well-beaten 2nd last time out in the Vanguard behind Frosted Ice, who is getting the rest of the year off, for reported from his trainer, Ron Moquette. But Poppy's Destiny is one that I've always thought from the get-go that would relish more ground. And he's just this big, lanky type of colt who is very relaxed and laid back here in the paddock, too. I think he looks sensational, and he continues to get more and more fit, and he's doing well with racing, I would have to say. Now, we just saw a horse for Linda Rice to boot, who secured the Maid of the Miss, going from turf to dirt. We'll see if Market Bubble, I know a horse that David Aragona likes here, and a horse that physically I'm a fan of. This is a big, good-looking son of Fed Biz. Yes, maybe he is a little more turf inclined looking at him, but the thing is, the distance, I think, will support him on this surface. He looks sensational here and just really fit, really well defined, as he'll look to get back on track after a disappointing effort in the Laurel Futurity over a bog. Moving on to the AE, the maiden that draws in here on the outside is number 15, True Gold. Well, we saw his half-brother run 2nd earlier in the Hudson, and this guy will try the mile. Now, pedigree not necessarily screaming longer is better, but he is a tall drink of water. I think physically he might be able to overcome his pedigree, and I like his disposition here in the paddock for that stretch out and distance. He looks better than when I had last seen him, which was back in Saratoga, and he didn't get that close to Dugout, but I think he could very easily churn the tables on him, Andy, as they will run the mile here in this Sleepy Hollow.
Well, so much of what Maggie said was about the distance, and we'll see if you can get the distance, David. And our pick four kicks off in this race. How are you looking to play it?
It's a very tough sequence. No real key horses to lean on anywhere in this 4-race sequence. This is a spread race to me. Dugout's the favorite. He can obviously win, but the other horses I want to use are those that I think can get the distance. I like the number 7 Market Bubble as my top pick, but I'm going to use 5 in all. I'm just going to spread in this race. The Empire Distaff in race 9. It's another really tough race. The only way that I could play it is just narrow it down to 2 horses. Bonita Bianca, who makes a lot of sense, and the number 8 horse, who's my top pick, Tis Now Smile. I think she's going to get the right pace setup. The 10th race, I'm all about pat on the back, but I'll use as backups Can You Dig It, who beat him last time, as well as the number 7 Why Not, interesting long shot. And the off-the-turf last race, I'll use 4 that have dirt form.
Yeah, they seem like the right 4 in the last race, but I agree. It is an interesting sequence, but it is not one that's going to feature super short-priced horses. So you're going to get paid if you hit it. It's always worth playing that late pick 4. And, of course, the Naira Betts late pick 5, that's going to be returning this coming Wednesday, October 24th. Naira Betts late pick 5 will be coming back. Horses making their way to the racetrack. First out is the favorite, the number 6 Dugout, going out for trainer Larry Ravelli. Jose Valdivia is in for the mount.
Has a ton of talent, but has to get the distance and survive what could be a fast pace.
We'll get in order after that. The number 1 is Poppy's Destiny. Linda Rice looking to sweep the 2-year-old races. Javier Castellano working for win 5,000, number 2.
Closed for 2nd behind an impressive winner in the Bertram F. Vanguard last time. Has to run faster, but could handle the distance.
Off a maiden win is the 2 Riken. Trainer David Donk swept the early double yesterday. Manny Franco back in town.
Has to improve and run a lot faster.
The number 3, a long shot, Strive for the Cure, goes out for Dale Capuano. Weston Hamilton.
Beat a weak field when coming up the rail to break his maiden. Must do better.
The number 4, Bank It, certainly has shown some promise, goes out for the Asmussen barn, and leading rider, Rod Ortiz.
Distance, a major question for a horse that faded badly last time.
We've seen Dugout. We'll jump ahead to, I know, your top choice, the 7 Market Bubble. Joe Bravo riding for Alan Goldberg.
Very impressive in his debut. A turf horse trying dirt for the first time that I think will get the distance.
Been a sensational meet for trainer Gary Contessa. His 8 Pipes broke his maiden going long on the dirt. Jose Lescano has the mount.
Never been on a fast dirt track. He'd be a big surprise.
Much like the winner of the filly division, the 9 Albie has only run on the turf and broke his maiden in his only start. The 9 Albie waiting on him. There he is for Mike Dilger and David Cohen.
Did everything right in his debut, but that was on turf, tries dirt for the first time, has some pedigree.
The great John Velasquez picks up a mount for the top trainer Todd Pletcher with La Fuerza.
He was the sensation back at the beginning of this season, but hasn't really progressed. Now he has to stretch out in distance.
A long shot, the number 12, Analyze This and That, goes out for Russell Cash with Mike Luzzy.
He's by far the slowest horse in the race. Would be a big upset.
Number 14, Bustin' Hoffman, Ollie Figgins and Junior Alvarado.
Was closing behind Poppy's Destiny last time. He's going to hope for a fast pace once again.
And rounding out the field, a maiden but an interesting player, the 15 True Gold, Joel Rosario riding for Charlie Baker.
Second to dugout last time, but he's one that could improve his distance.
Starter Loyalty Program is a really interesting thing that we've been starting here at the New York Racing Association in 2018. And there are a number of different levels, 4 different levels, as you can see, where you can earn a purse bonus of 5 to 15%. And it really worked out for the winner of the Jockey Club Gold Cup earlier. We've given out over $300,000 so far with this program. And it always helps owners and connections participate. We want to get more participation in the New York Racing Association. 3 horses are eligible in the Sleepy Hollow for bonuses. They are Bank It, Just Right. Actually, Just Right is scratched, excuse me. So only 2. The number 4, Bank It, and the number 8, Pipes. They'll be eligible for almost $7,000 bonus. It's terrific to get in this bonus program. Another reason to be playing at the New York Racing Association. The number 7, Market Bubble. We're trying to find him somewhere out there. I know, David, he's a horse that you're very interested in, but he's never run in the dirt.
Yeah, he's a big question mark in this race. If you're looking for horses that can get the distance, you want to look at some of these turf horses. I was very impressed with his debut back on June 30th at Belmont. He ran down a horse that day who had a huge tactical advantage. He really had no business winning this race with a horse that just was able to walk on the lead. I love the way he finished off this race in the last 1/8 of a mile. He's got to stretch out in distance now, but he's bred to do it, and he's got enough dirt pedigree to, I think, handle his surface switch.
You know, 20 years ago, when we didn't run as many turf races, you rarely saw turf horses go to the dirt and be effective. That has completely changed. And as we said earlier, the winner of the Maid of the Mist, the 2-year-old filly division, had only run twice, and she'd run in the dirt. And she improved running on the dirt. And I don't know how much pedigree this one has for the dirt, but I totally agree with you. That was a very impressive maiden win, and this horse is on my tickets as well.
Yeah, this horse actually has a very similar profile to the Maid of the Mist winner because he ran at Laurel after his debut, finished behind there on a yielding turf course. Now he's getting on dirt for the first time. I think he's got ability.
And don't you feel like this is a race where stamina could be a real issue?
Yeah, it's going to be an issue for a lot of horses in this race, especially those that need to be forwardly placed.
Standing by, Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, guys. I want to talk a little bit about warm-ups here. Is number 10, La Fuerza. Well, while his races are slow, albeit on the Beyer figure scale, he does own the most amount of wins of any horse in here, as he does have 3 wins to his credit for Todd Pletcher. And as far as warm-ups go, I love what I was seeing from him out on the track with Johnny V. Now, he's a horse that consistently, except for 2-back, doesn't necessarily love to get out of the gate running, but it feels like Johnny might be thinking about that here today, as he will stretch out in distance. Physically, I think he looks great, and he's kind of a versatile horse as far as his frame, where he could kind of go either way as far as distances run. Now, moving on to number 4, Bank It, as you heard Andy say, a horse eligible for that starter loyalty bonus program. And last time, there were some issues at the gate. He was a part of a kind of contested pace. I don't know what trip he pulls. I'm not totally sold that the distance is really ideal for him. I can't deny the fact that, guys, this horse looks sensational in the paddock and again out on the racetrack for trainer Steve Asmussen and Toby Sheets.
Well, we'll see if this horse could get the distance and can survive the pace. The 6 dugout, same question, David.
Yeah, he's done everything right so far in his career. He's drawn outside some of his other key pace rivals, so maybe that helps him a little bit. But he's going to have to get the distance because that's the major question for him.
No, I don't disagree. Now, other horses that were interested in this race are horses like the 1, Poppy's Destiny, Linda Rice looking to sweep. I don't think this horse should have any problem with the distance.
No, he's bred to get it on the dam side. He's a son of Orb, so he certainly should have no problem with stamina. I liked the way he finished last time in the Bertram F. Vanguard. He's got a right to really improve today.
And Lynn is looking to sweep these 2-year-old races. The number 15 horse who gets in off the also eligibles, a maiden True Gold, but I think he's a player in here, but he has to get the distance. Maggie seemed somewhat confident he would.
Yeah, he ran right with Poppy's Destiny in his debut, and I thought he took a nice step forward behind Dugout last time. He's actually a half-brother to Gold for the King, who we saw finish a good second in the Hudson earlier today, so he's got a right to be a nice horse.
Another horse we want to look at before they head in the gate is another one that you used in your pick 4, and that's the number 8, Pipes. We know he can get the distance. Can he get the distance fast enough to beat these on a dry track?
Actually, the number 9, Albie, is the other horse that I used. Albie, I thought he ran well in his debut. Michael Dildra actually won this race last year with a horse switching from turf to dirt, so maybe he can pull off the same feat this year.
He beat me by a nose, Mike Dildra, in this race last year with a huge long shot that ran hard every step of the way. I'm still bitter about that. I'm glad that you brought that up. Horses are almost in the gate for the Sleepy Hollow. Larry Colmus, our track announcer, is starting to gear up. It's a good day for him to get ready for the Breeders' Cup. A lot of big fields here on Empire Showcase Day. And in just 2 weeks, actually 13 days, Larry will be down at Churchill Downs calling the Breeders' Cup races. But today, we've got him calling our Empire Showcase Days races as we head upstairs to Larry Colmus.
And the last few runners are moving into line here. Buston Hoffman has entered the starting gate. Dugout now goes in. Here comes Market Bubble. And that'll leave True Gold to complete the line here. True Gold, the maiden, bet down to odds of 5-1, as Dugout remains a slight favorite at 2-1 here, and they're all in line. They're off in the Sleepy Hollow. La Fuerza came out well. On the outside, analyzed this and that. Pipes is right up there, too. And here's Dugout rushing through an opening on the inside. Bankit is close up as well. Poppy's Destiny is coming through an opening on the inside. And they're followed by Strive for a Cure as they continue the run up the backstretch. Then it's Albie, True Gold, and down on the inside comes Rickon. Break of another 4 to Buston Hoffman. And last of them all is Market Bubble, who's well off the pace here through a 22.88 sharp opening quarter mile, set by Dugout, who leads by a length up the backstretch. Analyze this and that is second on the outside. Poppy's Destiny is third as they make their way for the turn. And then it's Pipes, True Gold, Rickon to the inside, and La Fuerza. Albie is after that. Bankit saves ground 5 lengths from the front. And then comes Strive for a Cure. Market Bubble starting to get going now. Just went by Buston Hoffman, but still well behind after a 46.57 half mile. They round the far turn with Dugout in front by a length and a half. And Rickon has come through an opening on the inside up into second position now. Poppy's Destiny is right outside those, running along in third as they come toward the top of the stretch. Then analyze this and that. True Gold, Bankit is next as they come toward the head of the lane here. Turning for home, and Rickon has taken the lead on the outside. Rickon takes over from Dugout. Bankit comes up to him, and now with a furlong to run, Bankit strikes the front. Pulling away from Rickon, Dugout, and from the back of the pack, Buston Hoffman has picked it up too, but he is not going to get Bankit. Bankit has won the Sleepy Hollow, pulling away by 5 in the end over Buston Hoffman. Up into third was Strive for a Cure, and Rickon was fourth.
Well, a change of tactics for Bankit. Irad Ortiz wanted no part of being involved in what was a pretty strong pace. Ended up getting a perfect trip, and he finished with a flourish.
Yeah, they had a plan today. This horse had gotten involved in some heated duels in his last few races. They took him off the pace today, and he finished.
No, Bankit ran very, very well in here. I mean, he just left this field in his dust.
And he wasn't even that far off the pace. I mean, others closed from way back. He was just much the best. I agree. Superior performance.
No, they went pretty quick. The first quarter in 22.88, and they really had to hustle Dugout to get there. They were not fooling with his running style. It didn't work out. The long shot Reichen made a nice run on the turn, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't close, but a couple of nice long shots filling out the try. In fact, Super.
Try and Super. Big prices behind this horse. It really fell apart, though, behind the winner. I mean, the speeds finished nowhere. Second, third, and fourth place, they all came from off the pace.
Nice to see the freshman sire, Central Banker, doing well. The horse who's standing up in McMahon Farm up near Saratoga. In fact, right by Saratoga Lake. Central Banker, this is his first crop, and this is a big win for him.
Yeah, they must have thought a lot of this horse at the beginning of his career because they actually ran him against Open Company first time out before moving to New York breds. He always looked like he had a lot of potential. He's finally showing it today.
Yeah, the best price he's ever been, a 5-1. Irad Ortiz. He was tied for the Riders title about 2.5 days ago. I think he's up about 10 wins now over Manny Franco. Bank it. He's the first winner on our Belmont Park Live today. We got much more to come, including a special guest in just a moment.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners Taylor Spirit, He Hate Me, and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have brought prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Clayton Farm.
They're off.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. Well, a nice win by Bankit today, and Bankit's win was actually made a little bit more special because he enjoys part of that starter loyalty bonus. He gets an extra $6,875 over that about 100, not 150. I got to get it right, about 140-ish, but that's a nice add to it, and that's what makes that starter loyalty program such a terrific thing here at the New York Racing Association. Irad Ortiz, and, of course, Toby Sheets, the assistant trainer for Steve Asmussen in New York, done a great job with this horse. David, $12.40 for Bankit.
Generous price on this horse because he's got a ton of talent. He's been much shorter prices in his prior races. They didn't get him today going the longer distance, but he certainly handled it.
No, he absolutely, and the change of tactics worked. He rated so kindly for Irad Ortiz in this race. And Bustin Hoffman, Strive for the Cure, they filled it out. How about the Super? $3,277 for a dime.
Massive payout.
I could have got out. I could have got out for the day if I just had it for a dive. The Naira Bets Late Pick 5, as we mentioned a little earlier, will be returning to action on Wednesday, October 24th, through the foreseeable future. So that Naira Bets Late Pick 5, a popular feature. A lot of our fans asked to get it back. Well, when our fans speak, we do our best to listen. So it'll be coming back, and that's the Naira Bets Late Pick 5. And keep in mind, if you're not in New York State, the only way to play the Naira Bets Late Pick 5 is to play it through Naira Bets. Maggie Wolfendale is standing by with one of her favorite people, Toby Sheets, the assistant trainer to Steve Asmussen in New York.
You are exactly right. Very pleased to be in the winner's circle here with Toby Sheets. And Toby, Bankit maybe got a little off track and kind of flew under the radar, but how confident were you in him getting the distance of a mile here today?
Pretty confident. We've been changed his gallop a little bit, the way he gallops in the morning, and how we worked him in company behind a horse a little bit, and he finished up really well, and pretty confident in him that he was going to run well. I didn't know for sure if we'd win, but yeah.
And he really ran well. I mean, he put a lot of length in between him and the other finishers here. Where do you think he lies? Where do you think his best kind of trip is, and where do you go from here?
We're going to enjoy the moment and see how we come out of it, and we'll go from there, pick something after that. There's the Stallion Series at Aqueduct and a couple different spots, so we'll just see how it comes out and enjoy the moment.
All right, so well, you do enjoy that moment and get your trophy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, Bankit, he certainly banked it here today.
I'm actually wondering if Toby's dressed up for the race or for his interview with Maggie. I think it was probably a little bit of both. Well, the Maid of the Mist for the 2-year-old fillies was run right before we came on the air today. Let's take a look at some video from that race. Obviously, we'll be looking at that video for the Maid of Mist in just a moment. Here we come. We're setting up that video right now. The Maid of the Mist, the filly version, coming down the stretch, David. Nice long shot that you thought had a good chance.
Yeah, Surge of Pride. She had some dirt pedigree, but it home they were on turf so far for Linda Rice. She got the right trip inside early, angled out at the top of the stretch, and she really finished off this race well.
No, she did run well, and she really didn't run that much slower than the boys did the next race. When you consider how easily Bankett won the race, she actually ran better than the second-place finisher in there. This is a filly who can do a little bit of running. She can run on the turf. She can run in the dirt.
Yeah, the early pace was not nearly as fast, so she finished up well.
Well, the action is just starting to heat up here on Belmont Park Live, but it's going to get really hot up here on the set. The one, the only, Kendrick Carmouche. He's standing by on the set. Look how happy he is to be sitting with us. Kendrick Carmouche will be joining us for race number 2 on Belmont Park Live when we come back.
What I like most about our Run Happy weanling is from day one, he's always been a very quality individual. Once you turn him loose in the field, he's all man and stands out. You put a lead rope on him and bring him back in. He's an absolute gentleman to be around.
Arabian Song's foal really stands out. She's been conformationally issue-free, probably the most leg that any of her foals have had.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
I never have it go through my mind to win 5,000, to go through where I am. If you don't have a pressure, you don't have a passion. You need to have it. You need to go through to the moment. You need to feel it, the passion, the race, the competition, to be competitive in the game. I think if you don't have it that, you lose everything. It's a tough game. It's a roller coaster. You be in top and you in the bottom. Those things, they keep you motivated for the next couple races, the next level. I'm from Venezuela. I come from different country. I learned a different style. My dad was a jockey. August 1997, that's why my first step. It's a ride horse in the United States. And it was wonderful to ride with the best top jockeys ever. Jerry Bailey, Pat Day, Jose Santo, Julie Crow, Richie Migliori. I learned through them how to ride horses here in New York, how do you perform, how you manage yourself, and try to be competitive.
Bernardini has won. Javier Castellano says he's #1.
Blincher just strides away. Utter gold! Looked like he got him in the last stride. So it is Javier Castellano getting the Preakness without computing.
The more you win, the more you get into in this game, the more you get excited, the more you win races, and they all are special. They all have something, a meaning. I have a couple good memories, you know, like Coast Up Breeders' Cup 2004. It was my first Breeders' Cup, I remember, and Breeders' Cup Classic to perform. That's the only mile I have for the day. I've been waiting for all day long for that race, and the way he performed the horse, it was amazing.
Go Sepper kicking clear, and Go Sepper is pulling away impressively. Javier Castellano, Go Sepper, Bobby Frankel have won the Breeders' Cup Classic with Star.
Travel, you know, I've been very lucky. Sometimes you stop yourself and you look around and say, wow, to win this, I mean, my sixth travel in my career is amazing.
Bernardini, Afuera Quest, stay thirsty. VE Day surging.
Keen Ice has won the Travers. Catholic boy rolls in the run. Happy Travers.
Very, very fortunate, very lucky to be married with a wonderful family. My wife, she'll be always support to me in my career.
Let's please give a warm welcome to the newest Hall of Fame inductee, Javier Castellano.
Javier Castellano going to work on Runaway Loot, trying to hold off this competition. Can he do it? Runaway Loot's going to get there, and Javier Castellano has won 5,000 career races.
Thank God for giving me the opportunity and my skill to be competitive in this game. It's amazing.
Great to see Javier Castellano get that 5,000th win. It's pretty incredible when you think about it. 27,450 mounts, career earnings over $300,000, 4 straight Eclipse Awards. He won a couple of Preaknesses as well, the Travers, the number of stakes at Saratoga. It is truly remarkable what Javier Castellano has accomplished. 5,000 wins, but I'll tell you what, we've got another remarkable rider, and we're very happy to have the great Kendrick Carmouche spending some time with us, recuperating from your accident. Kendrick, welcome to Belmont Park Live. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great having you here. So, first of all, and most importantly, how is your rehab going?
Going very well. You know, it's been 6 weeks now. Just a lot of muscle building, getting back to the way I should be riding and doing exercises when I get back to Belmont Park. It's just going good. I mean, I have the wife and kids there pushing me every day to make sure that I get up and go to therapy, and it's just been wonderful. It's a setback for a minor comeback, and that's the way I see it. You know, everything happened for a reason, but I'm just glad the way it's going. It's a process for everything in life.
When can we hope to see you back in action? I hope it's tomorrow, but
I would love to come back tomorrow because I want to get back in the fight. That's the way it works in this game. You know, sitting on the sideline watching TV is not a fight, but I would say in February, the middle of it, I'll be back. I just want to take my time because it's my first ever spill and getting hurt to this this bad spill. I mean, it really did crush me. You know, not to be out there with my jockeys in New York and fighting it out with some of the best jockeys in the country. I mean, we at the top of our game, and that's where we want to be, fighting every day. We don't want to be watching TV.
Well, you've proven that you belong with this colony. I mean, you came here, and anybody coming to New York, it's tough to come from out of town. But tell you what, we showed Javier's numbers. Your numbers are pretty darn good, too, Kendrick.
Well, you know, that's from a lot of hard work. You know, I come up from Louisiana. I knew it would be a tough task at getting across to a lot of these racetracks and doing good, but you know, hard work pays off. If there's anything in life, just work hard. Success always comes. You know, put yourself in the right predicament.
Well, this is what you do well. You're pretty good in those sprints. And you said to me, watching the races while you haven't been riding, you say you see some races, you say, boy, there's not much pace in this race. Andy must be going crazy.
You know, when you sit down watching TV and you listen to Andy and these guys, it's just unbelievable because, you know, some of the things that go through their mind go through our mind. We might not agree with Andy and the guys on set most of the time, but, you know, they seen it from hindsight, and, you know, it's a different way to look at it. And, you know, riding sprints and and riding these good horses. That's what we all want. We all want that in life.
Well, we want to have you, and we feel as though you're sort of a member of the team, because in Saratoga so often, when the horses would go by us, you'd be part of the show. So it's nice to at least have you set. We're sorry it took an injury to get you here. Good news is we're going to keep you on the set. We're going to talk about the next race, the Empire Distaff. So a whole lot more to come here on Belmont Park Live. Belmont Park Live will continue. The Empire Distaff is coming back. More Kendra Carmouche when we get back.
Eclipse champion Blaine is having a breakout year in 2018. Among the nation's leading sires of stakes horses, his recent top runners include Fault, Maraud, Marley's Freedom, Beyond Blame, and Miss Kentucky. He's also making a name for himself internationally with French Classic winner Singman. And with yearlings bringing up to $350,000, this three-time Grade 1 winner offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back on this beautiful fall day here on this Empire Showcase Day, as we'll take a look at the Empire Distaff. Horses are here in the paddock getting ready with 10 minutes to post, and want to check in with Rudy Rodriguez trainee. That is number 6 in here, Frosty Ann, who is going for her 7th consecutive win here today. And she has overcome and she has overachieved several times in her career. And I've always felt as though she wasn't really a horse that had that much affinity for going long, but she proved me completely wrong in her 2 efforts going the 9 furlongs up at Saratoga, including a win in the Saratoga Dew. Now, we haven't seen her since that effort a little over 2 months ago, but she looks sensational here again. It's tough for horses to keep these kind of win streaks going, but I cannot fault her whatsoever here in the paddock, as we will turn our attention to a former Rudy Rodriguez trainee in number 12, Bonita Bianca, and she is now under the tutelage of Jason Service, who was keeping her sprinting actually on the dirt. Last time they tried her on the turf in the Hettinger, and she didn't like it too much, but I like the fact she's getting back out to a longer distance of the mile and a 16th here today. Physically, I mean, she just looks really, really in tune with this kind of distance. And we'll see, she might get some pace to close into as well. She looks fine. I've liked her a bit more in past efforts, but she is definitely part of the discussion here, as she will be hoping that a horse such as number 1, Frostwise, will go out there and set some early pace. Now, she was supposed to run in the Shoe V up at Saratoga on July 29th. She was a late scratch at the gate that day, and she was a very, very big price and certainly aided Farrell in getting the job done with her late scratch. Now she's going to have to come back off of a layoff dating back to the end of May here. And while I like her, she's done well. I mean, Mike Dilger, he's done very well with her in that she looks like a stronger horse overall, but I still kind of question the overall fitness. You know, she just looks a little bit on the stuffier side. And I also like the fact that the blinkers do come off here going the mile and a 16th. So we'll see if she can get back to her good races. And a guy that was aboard her for some of those good races, well, he is sitting upstairs with Andy and David.
Well, you know, there is a guy up here who has some experience with Frostwise.
Yeah, you've actually ridden her in 4 of her last 5 starts. She's a horse that likes to be forwardly placed, and she's one of the main speeds in a race that features other pace. How would you ride her from the rail?
Breaking from the one hole, I mean, you got to break it with good contention. It's just, you know, she want to be there. That's the way she liked to run. She ran a very good race at Aqueduct on April 15th. I would just run her out of the one hole and see what good position you can get. Hopefully nobody else goes.
You were aboard her this day for the top flight. This was probably the best performance of her career. She was really game, just losing a tough open company stakes race. She was at her best this day. Now she's coming off the layoff. It's a tough task to ask a horse with speed to break from the rail and go this distance off the layoff.
Yeah, I would say so, but I would think if she can run that same race she run in Aqueduct, she can beat these horses.
Contender.
Oh, I agree. That was a sensational effort. And
Very
obviously,
good effort.
the horse who beat her in their Blue Prize is actually a contender for
Come
the
back
Breeders' Cup
win the
Distaff.
stake at Keeneland.
She wanted to jump the outside rail.
Churchill.
No, at Keeneland. She won the Spinster. She wanted to jump the outside rail with Joe Bravo.
Well, there you go.
I know you were watching that when you were home in Delaware. The 12 Bonita Bianca. This is a horse that both David and I think is a major player here. And I think one of the things you have to ask yourself is she just a new horse for Jason Service?
It certainly seems like it, because back when she was with Rudy Rodriguez, it seemed like she wanted to run all day. A mile and 1/8 would be potentially too short for her. But for Jason Service, she's been a sprinter. She's shown a lot more speed. This is her winning the Union Avenue 2 back. She beat some fast horses in this race. She's stretching back out in distance, but I'm not going to put it past her to be able to do it.
Yeah, she is absolutely one of the ones that can win it. If you look at that board, I mean, you've got most of the field at a very, very similar price in this race. It is that kind of wide-open race, the Empire Distaff. Might be one of the most contentious runnings that we've ever had of this race. And the horses are making their way out the track. You see them leaving that beautiful paddock. You missed that big tree in the paddock at Belmont, don't you?
Oh, I missed it. I missed it so much.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back.
Oh, thank you, Andy.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to miss you in the winter. Love going to see you in the jock. Well, you'll be there part of the time. I love going to the jocks room.
Well, it's always good to get a good smile, you know?
Frostwise, number 1, John Velasquez riding for Mike Dilger.
One of the main speeds from the rail coming off the layoff, has to be ready to win this race.
Javier Castellano, he's stuck on 5,001 wins. Take Charge Aubrey for Bruce Levine.
Should sit a good stalking trip. She's an improving 3-year-old filly.
Remarkable job that Jeremiah Engelhardt has done since Jim Riccio claimed this horse. She's still in the tunnel, actually. Pink Twist has scratched the number 3 horse, but we're waiting for number 4. There's Take Charge Aubrey, the 3-year-olds. It's great to see the 3-year-olds taking on the older horses, and that's what used to happen more often in the fall before the Breeders' Cup. Hayfield, as we said, great job by Jeremiah Engelhardt. Joe Bravo riding.
She's won 5 of her last 6 starts, but the mile and 16th distance is going to be a test for her.
I think everybody's ticket's going to blow up if the 5 Rosie Jersey wins for Eric Reed and David Cohen.
She's been facing much weaker horses out of town. Would be a massive upset.
Looking for her 7th straight win, Frosty Ann, Junior Alvarado riding for Rudy Rodriguez.
She's a really honest mare who knows where the wire is, but she's going to have to put forth a top effort to win this race.
Don't know if she's fast enough, but she is a very cool horse, and that's English Soul, Ray Handel, and Manny Franco.
She runs on either surface, any distance, shows up every time. She's going to be a handful if she shows up in this race.
Your top choice, Tis Now Smile, Charlie Baker and Joel Rosario team up.
Hard horse to get in the top form, but her last race was her best. Now she's stretching out in distance.
Linda Rice has another 3-year-old in here. Split time with Irad Ortiz.
Another improving 3-year-old, very consistent, and she should get the right pace setup.
I'll tell you, a horse who is a long shot, but she should be winging out front is the 10 Bluegrass Flag for Tom Morley and Weston Hamilton.
She seems like the speed of the speed in this race. Their best plan is to just go to the front.
And rounding out the field, the current 9-2 favorite, and my top choice, the 12, Bonita Bianca, Jason Service, and Jose Lezcano.
If she can repeat her Union Avenue going this distance, she's going to be tough to beat.
This is an absolutely terrific running of the Empire Distaff. We're going to have a lot more coming up, and Bonita Bianca looking out good for Michael Dubb. Owner Michael Dubb was a big win already earlier today. Belmont Park Live will continue in just a moment.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. We're not too far from Grand Central Station, one of my favorite spots in Manhattan. Remember the old days? You used to be able to place a bet right down there on the floor of Grand Central Station. Spent a lot of time there. The loyalty program continues. We saw the winner of the last race take advantage of the Naira loyalty program. The 2 Take Charge Aubrey, the 4 Hayfield, and the 8 Tis Now Smile. Looking to take advantage of that. And number 8 Tis Now Smile, David, a horse I know that you are very interested in.
This was a horse that her connections thought a lot of as a 2-year-old. She actually ran in stakes races as a maiden 2 years ago. She went off form for a long time. They took the connections a long time to figure out what she wanted to do best, getting her back into top form. But her last 2 races suggest that she's really moving in the right direction. She was visually impressive last time. Now, she was on a good rail, but she did it the right way. Now they're stretching her back out in distance. She's certainly bred to handle it, and she's going to get the right pace set up. I'm taking a shot with her.
Yeah, I mean, she had got a great ride from Trevor McCarthy, staying down in the good inside last time. But you're right, and she's a horse that's supposed to appreciate more distance.
If you look at her pedigree, all of her siblings were best going 2 turns, route races, and that's what she was doing earlier in her career before she went off form. The way she finished up this 7 furlong race last time suggests to me that she's going to have no trouble handling the extra furlong and a half today, and there's plenty of pace in this race for her to close into. I think she's going to set the right trip.
A trio of 3-year-old fillies are going to be trying this race that hit the wire together in the Fleet Indian. And Kendrick, I know you're hopeful that Take Charge Aubrey for Bruce Levine can get the job done here.
Yeah, I like Take Charge Aubrey. I mean, she's going to be in a perfect position. Good break with Javier Castellano. You know, Javier wins 5,000 a day, and 5,001. He's working on 6,000 now. So, you know, he's going to put himself in a good striking spot. And, you know, I see a good setup for her. I give Bruce Levine a good shot in this race.
Yeah, she might be a horse, too, that might be better around 1 turn than 2 turns, and that might help her out a little bit. Maggie Wolfendale is standing by.
And I can't disagree with that assessment of number 2 in here, Take Charge Aubrey. But taking a look at number 4, Hayfield, who Jeremiah Englehart has done fantastic work with. She looks great once again, but this distance, as David pointed out, I don't think it's going to necessarily be to her liking. She's about the most compact and short-coupled filly or mare that we have in this field for the distaff, and that just says sprint to me. Furthermore, you know, I maybe would give her a little bit more of a chance if this was a wet track. Some of her wet track races just feel like they might be a bit better. Now, number 7 is English Soul. She dances every dance, and she shows up every time. I will say that she maybe looked a bit better going into the Fleet Indian. I know Ray mentioned that she had a minor setback. She was supposed to run in the Charlestown Oaks. She didn't make it there. They opted to stay here with New York Breds, which I can't blame them for doing. I just feel as though she might be a notch below going into this effort than what she was against fellow 3-year-olds, as she will be stepping out of that age-restricted company for the first time, Andy.
Thanks a lot, Mag. Well, this is a fun race, and I agree. I don't know if English Soul is good enough, but you have to really admire her. I mean, she gives her all every time.
Yeah, she's a really tenacious filly who, if she's in the mix at the end, she's going to really fight it out to the wire. You know that about her.
No, it'll be interesting to see what she does. This is a really terrific bunch, and I love the idea of the 3-year-olds running against the older horses.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta put them in there and see if they can prove themselves with older horses.
Horse in front. Who's that broke through the gate?
English Channel.
That's English Soul. She was so eager. She wanted to get there. I tell you what, breaking through the gate with a horse, is it frustrating for you when that happens?
Because the saying, like everybody say, if you break through the gate, you can't win the race. You might as well scratch. You know, it always goes through our mind, but it's not true. Because I done seen horses win that break through the gate, and it just sucks because, you know, it triggers your horse's mind that it already didn't went there. It don't want to go do it again, to me. You know, so I never want my horse to break through the front of the gate.
It seemed like we had a period in Saratoga. In 2017, we had like 3 breaks through the gate, and they all won.
Oh, Joel Rosario was one of them. I remember that day.
It's amazing.
He beat me.
We've seen it happen before. While they're loading the gate, let's head upstairs to Larry Colmus with the call of the Empire Distaff Handicap.
They're all in line. They're off in the Empire Distaff. Rosie Jersey bobbled just a bit coming out of there, and Frostwise had a slow beginning. It is English Soul right to the front, taking the lead with Bluegrass Flag away running in second on the outside. Farther out, Bonita Bianca. Now Frostwise comes to an opening on the inside of Take Charge Aubrey up the backstretch. And they're followed by Hayfield, and farther out is Frosty Ann. A length and a half to Rosie Jersey. Split time, and 'Tis Now Smile at the back of the pack as English Soul leads the way through a 23.71 opening quarter mile on top by 3/4 of a length. Bluegrass Flag on the outside, running in second. Bonita Bianca is third. Frostwise fourth on the inside. Then Take Charge Aubrey, followed by Frosty Ann. Hayfield is 6 lengths from the front. Then 'Tis Now Smile inside of Split Time, and Rosie Jersey trails the field. 47.23 was the half, and there's a half mile to run. English Soul on the inside, Bluegrass Flag right alongside. Bonita Bianca 3 wide on the turn. A length and a half ahead of Frosty Ann. And they're being followed between horses by Take Charge Aubrey. Frostwise is down on the inside about 5 lengths off the lead. Then 'Tis Now Smile moving outside of horses Split Time within 5 of the front, but going 5 wide, and even farther out is Hayfield. 3/4 and 1, 12.09. They're into the stretch. Bonita Bianca has taken charge here, opening up the lead by 3. And then on the outside is Split Time. Hayfield down the center is next. Then Take Charge Aubrey on the inside. But as they come down to the final 16th, it is Bonita Bianca. And she is a convincing winner of the Empire Distaff. Strong under the wire over Split Time. And there was 'Tis Now Smile and Take Charge Aubrey.
I like seeing Lascano win, especially when you're a small guy.
You could tell the entire time Jose Lascano was sitting on a ton.
If you don't see him grabbing, you see him sitting, he got a lot of horse.
Yeah, I mean, this horse was much the best.
Yeah, I mean, she had sprinted in the past, but she had no trouble at the extra distance today.
I mean, this was an absolute joke. I mean, I would say Split Time ran very well to be second, and your horse 'Tis Now Smile ran well to be third, but Bonita Bianca, she was in a different race than everybody else.
Yeah, she was. She was.
What's it like when you're sitting on a horse in that spot, right, and you're just wondering, like, how am I going to get beat?
I mean, you just count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, go. You pull the trigger.
And, I mean, I guess your biggest concern at that point is moving too soon.
Yeah, that's why you counted 3 always.
And riding Belmont Park with the big turns, I mean, the premature move, when you first came to New York, was that something that was tough?
Well, I tell you, I rode in Aqueduct, and I didn't know the ovals was as bigger than parks in Maryland. And I tell you, I move soon a lot of times, and I don't say anything. I always go back home and look at my replays, and I was like, something got to change. And I just start sitting longer. You know, you just got to sit as long as you can. 8-pole, 316.
Well, Jose Lezcano didn't matter when he moved with this filly. Bonita Bianca, much the best.
No, she finished off strongly. The pace of this race was not nearly as fast as some of the other ones we've seen, so that helped her, but she was in a different league than the rest of this field.
It was a very, very solid effort for her. Just a couple hundredths below 143 and 1/5, and a dominating winner. And I like something about the big race. I mean, you like super competitive races, but when you have, and these are sort of championship races, New York breds, she's a decisive winner.
Decisive, and you know what? Good for the owners, Mike Dubb and the breeders. You know, it's very good that they supporting the New York breeders, and it just brings good racing. Like this race was supposed to set up and go faster, and I mean he got the perfect trip outside, sitting 3 wide and just waiting to move.
Well, what's helped her is she has more speed than she used to have. She used to be a horse who used to plod, and now she can put herself in the race.
Well, I tell you, Jason Service, he does a very good job.
And he puts speed into his horses.
He put a lot of speed in the horses, and his horses always break good. Would be a good Carmouche connection.
All right, Kendrick, it was great to have you on the show, but what we want to see you is in silks and back on a horse.
It's going to be a little while, but I'll be back soon. I'm fighting. I'm taking notes how to make sure whenever I get back, I can beat y'all even better.
All right, you got my numbers. You can text me anytime, Kendrick. Such a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
You got it.
All
Pleasure.
right, we'll see you soon. We got more guests coming up on the show today as well. Joe Applebaum, president of NYTHA, will be joining us a little bit later. We'll be hearing from him. There's Joe Applebaum with Jeff Canizzo. Much more to come on Belmont Park Live.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warthrop. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Star Doza, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Claiborne Park.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
And you're watching Belmont Park Live on Empire Showcase Day. And we just saw a dominating performance by Bonita Bianca as she takes the Empire Distaff, and joined by a few of her owners here, Michael Imperio and Michael Dubb. And Michael, I'll start with you in that this is a filly who's very promising as a 2-year-old, and she certainly developed quite nicely. And you're the one who gave her beautiful name.
Yes, I named it after Gus's daughter, Bianca, and she's come a long way. We tried her on the grass, didn't work out, but today I think was one of the best races she ever ran.
And Mr. Dubb, as I turn to you, she was one that you guys tried earlier this year, sprinting, and she was effective. But, I mean, watching this performance, she seems like the more distance, the better.
Well, she's a horse who is really comfortable on the outside, and she happened to draw the right post position today. and she was comfortable. She was forwardly placed and relaxed. Usually she has to circle around a lot of horses. She broke her maiden here at Belmont, and she circled a lot of horses, and I think that was 6 furlongs, but she's curling and she'll stretch out.
I do remember that, and the curling, obviously a nice influence. And you said to me, heading to the sale as well after this performance.
Yeah, she's in the Fazek-Tipton Night of the Stars sale, and we'll see what happens.
All right, well, looks like you're heading there in the right kind of way. Guys, congratulations.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, Bonita Bianca, dominant here, Andy, in this Empire Distaff.
That she was. In fact, David and I were just talking. We feel like she could have won the Iroquois going 6.5 furlongs earlier in today's card. She just is a very, very versatile filly, 750 in the win end.
Yeah, she seemingly can do it all these days. She shows speed. She can go short. She can go long. Just in great form right now for Jason Service and Michael Dubb.
She really is, and she once again just a decisive winner. Split time, the 3-year-old ran very well, and Tisna Snile ran fine in here. Kind of the race floated in favor of her running style.
Yeah, Joe Rosario really stayed inside for a long time on Tisna Smile. The race really had an outside flow to it, so we had to wait a bit too long to get outside.
Well, no big prices, but as we said before, when you get a favor that pays $7.50, that's not a bad thing. Bank it, $12.40 to start it out. So a parlay, it's right around $50. The first 2 winners, over $500,000 in the pick 4.
Yeah, in races that are this wide open, you're going to get some prices and you're going to get a decent payout. Unfortunately, I got knocked out in the first leg by not having bank it on my ticket, but made Bonita Bianca a logical result.
Well, we just saw owner Michael Dubb in the winner's circle. That's his second win today, a decisive win by his offering plan, who just buried the field earlier today in our Mohawk. Michael Dubb has done so much for the community in horse racing, particularly with Anna House, the BCCA. Let's take a look and learn more about owner Michael Dubb.
It's a daisy.
It's close. A dandelion.
You're fun. No, it's a daffodil.
No, it's a dandelion. And dandelions grow in the grass. It's considered a weed. Okay, guys, have a great day. It's a dandelion. People ask me, you know, what's been your greatest moment in horse racing, and what's your greatest win? And I don't hesitate. The Belmont Child Care Association is the greatest thing I've been involved in. And it's not me, it's we. I mean, you know, this is a team effort. Jerry said, you know, the kids at the track, of the people who work there, they're sleeping in cars, they're left unattended, there's nobody to care for them. It would be a great idea to build a daycare center. You know, Jerry, I'm a builder. I've always wanted to do something for kids. I'll do it. And I always thought I would build a daycare center and ride off into the sunset. But here I am, addicted to horses and addicted to the daycare center. You know, picture going into school and you have a problem with, you know, understanding what the teacher says. So we eliminate that. And now you're going into school and you're actually ahead of what the teacher is teaching. Think of the confidence it instills. So we put the children in such a great position to excel, and they do. And it's great. And the parents have complete peace of mind. Not only are the kids being cared for, but they're given such a strong foundation and such great love and affection. And, you know, when they come out of here, they're really ready for preschool, and they get into preschool and they excel. You know, it's like having a strong foundation on your house. And they don't necessarily go away at pre-K. They come back for after-school programs. They come back and do volunteer work. They come back and help out. So the pleasure of watching these children, you know, grow up and be successful and be good people is just, you know, enormous, because we know that it all begins with the foundation, and that's what we do. It's the greatest gift. I mean, if you said to me, win the Kentucky Derby or this, I would choose this. So that's how I feel about it. Now, I'd like to do both, but that's a different story.
Always great to hear from owner Michael Dubb. He's such a big part of our game, and behind the scenes, but also in front of them as well. And his control group, who ran very, very well in his last start when third in the Evan Shipman, he'll try to come back in the Empire Classic.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-olds sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. Well, earlier today, Javier Castellano, he won race 4,999, and he did it quite easily in those familiar silks for owner Michael Dubb and trainer Chad Brown. Offering Plan, the easiest of winners, avenging defeat in last year's Mohawk, getting it done. And you see Chad Brown in the winner's circle, of course. Javier, that was 4,999, 5,000 in the 4th race, and the 5th race, he was right back for trainer Chad Brown, this time with Peter Brantz. 55, an easy winner of this Ticonderoga.
A nice 3 wins in a row for Javier Castellano. 55 got the right pace set up. Javier kept her in the clear throughout, rode her like she was the best horse, and she was.
Yeah, and she's really taken advantage of being able to run in these New York bred spots. Laminator ran very well to be second. Haven't seen her since Saratoga. That was actually her first defeat on the grass in 2018, but no disgrace finishing second in that race. Naira Bets, of course, hang on. Got more stuff going on. Highway Star. Nice to see that old pro back in the winner's circle, David.
Yeah, she's a favorite. Winner of over $1 million. Been competitive and graded stakes throughout her career. Not as good this year, but she got the job done today in a game effort.
I agree. Still able to get back there. Yeah, been a great day. Runaway Loot, a horse that you're a big fan as well for Gary Contessa. Nice to see him get a win on Empire Showcase Day. He's had such a terrific Belmont Park meeting. Second leading trainer behind Chad Brown. Claiborne Farm, our sponsor, doing the usual. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Very proud to be associated with Claiborne Farm. Naira Bets, no better way for you to play the races, whether you're playing them here or you're playing them at any racetrack. You've got to take advantage of so much that Naira Bets has to offer. You can use the app. A new member bonus. The promo code is Belmont Live. Bet 200, get 200. David Aragona from the Daily Racing Forum. Andy Sterling, New York Racing Association. Of course, Maggie Wolfendale. She's our eyes and ears down in the paddock. David, the Empire Classic coming up. 3 horses, actually the top 4 finishers from the Evan SHIPMAN, a race that was won last year But Diversify, he came back, of course, and won our Jockey Club Gold Cup. But all 4 of them ran okay in there. They're all back. But Pat in the back, are you surprised he's as high as 3-1 right now?
I mean, he is definitely the horse to beat. We'll see if he comes down a little bit by post time. He did lose to today's rival, Can You Dig It, last time. We talked about that race a little bit earlier. But he's just been in great form this year for Jeremiah Engelhardt. And if he runs his race, he's supposed to win this Empire Classic.
Do you also feel the Evan Shipman was run around 2 turns at Saratoga? This is 1 turn. Do you feel the 1 turn is more beneficial to him?
I've always felt this horse is really a 1-turn miler. He can handle 7 furlongs. He can go a little bit farther, but, you know, a mile and a 16th, a mile and an 1/8 should be okay for him as well. The mile and 1/8 around 2 turns in Saratoga can be demanding, and I don't think he quite got the distance last time.
He is a horse Jeremiah Engelhardt has struggled with because he has some foot issues at times, and he had hoped to run him in our Kelso, which we ran about a month ago. He did not get to make that start. He's given him more time to run in here. He ran well to be second, but I think all 3 of them, Control Group on the inside and Can You Dig It? But Can You Dig It? And I'm not knocking him. He's a very nice hard knocker, but he got the best of the trips.
Junior Alvarado did everything right on him last time. He had him on the inside throughout, behind the speed, swung out of the top of the stretch when the others were softened up and he ran them down. He might get the right setup again today, though.
But Pat at the back has really, really come to hand for his trainer when switched to Jeremiah Engelhardt. And there is Control Group for owner Michael Dubb. He's speed, but you got to think he's going to face some other speeds in here, including the 11, Mr. Buff.
He actually had an excellent race in this race last year as a 3-year-old. That was a slower pace that time, and there's other speed in this race to his outside today. Does he have to rate to win?
That's really the question. Is he a horse that can win this race without being able to control? Now, we saw the 3-year-olds run fairly well, with the filly running 2nd and 4th, actually, in the Empire Distaff. Can a horse like Seafoam or even Evaluator, who won our Sleepy Hollow on Empire Showcase Day last year, can the number 8 horse Seafoam, can he class up against these older horses?
I felt that he's a little bit slower than the top contenders in this race, but he really stepped up last time in the Oklahoma Derby against some nice 3-year-olds, open company. If he repeats that race here, he's got a chance.
He does. Now, he's got to run better than he ran our Albany, where he really had the run of the race. And Evaluator, you know, switching to the outside didn't help him. Evaluator is kind of a neat horse that can come running here, but he's got to step it up as well.
Yeah, he's going to need a total pace meltdown because he comes from way out of it. But here I'm well in this Albany behind Seafoam. He's stepping up in the right direction.
And I'll tell you something else. He's a horse that may be better around 1 turn as well, that long run that he gets to make. Maggie Wolfendale, she's in the paddock, and the Paddock Report, of course, is sponsored, as always, by Hillendale, standing Bayern, among others, Maggie.
Thank you, guys. And we'll check in with number 10, Pat on the back. Somewhat of a lukewarm favorite here for this Empire Classic, but a horse that I have the utmost respect for. He seems to show up and lay it on the line each and every time. And going back to Saratoga, in which I agree with what David and Andy were saying, and that he's probably a horse that doesn't really love going a 9 furlong 2 turns. He was also a little bit hyped up, a little more so than what I've seen from him in the past. And today, back here at Belmont, he's a little bit more relaxed. We'll see how he negotiates the 1 turn, 9 furlongs, as they were saying. I would agree. I think it's better for him because he is that bigger and heavier type of animal. And same thing goes for number 11 in here, Mr. Buff, who actually had no problem with a 2-turn mile and an 1/8. And I was just talking with his trainer, John Kimmel, and last time he was posted on the inside, and he just felt as though this horse was never allowed to get comfortable and in his rhythm, and he feels that he doesn't necessarily have to clear from that outside post. He just really wants to see him relax and find his stride, which I completely agree with, because when this horse does find his rhythm, he is so impressive, and that's what he did 2 starts back up at Saratoga. He just is this big, powerful stride to him, and I'm a fan of this horse, and I just want to see him have the right trip and the right ride here this time around, as we will check in with the 3-year-old. That is number 8, Seafoam, one that went to Oklahoma and tried the Oklahoma Derby against Open Company, and after winning the Albany. I didn't do that race up at Saratoga that day. The last time I had seen this guy was second off of a layoff. He got really undone in the paddock. He ran his race before going out to the track, and it looks as though he's turned a corner. I mean, he's so much more relaxed. He looks sensational here. Yes, he's gonna have to face some bigger, stronger, more accomplished, older company here today, which I'm not always a fan of, but I just feel like he's doing well heading into this as they are on the walking ring here, Andy.
Thanks so much, as always, Maggie. Always great to hear your thoughts out in the paddock. We are lucky to have Maggie Wolfendale. Nobody does it better than her. Can you dig it? Can he dig in for another win? We'll find out when Belmont Park continues after a short break.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial.
Ellis. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
So many great things to enjoy about New York State Bred Empire Showcase Day. The vendors in our grandstand here selling the many great things. You see the Brooklyn Brewery, different people making a lot of things in New York State. Nice to have them out. And they're part of the thing that makes Empire Showcase Day a special event. Been taking place for over 20 years here at Belmont Park since we started this program in the 90s. And it's all brought to you by NyraBets. David, the horses are heading out towards the track for the Empire Classic, the feature on today's card.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Pat on the Back can do it. It's a really nice field for this race. A bunch of these horses have run some faster speed figures. You know, sometimes you don't see New York breds that can compete against open company. A number of these have this year.
No, I agree. I mean, there's some nice horses. I'll tell you something. Had Pat in the Back been able to make the Kelso, he had every right to have made his presence felt in that race. And he is the horse to beat in here. Lukewarm right now. Of course, that sign-up bonus. Promo code is Belmont Live. Bet 200, get 200. You can bet all the tracks here in America, North America, but also tracks overseas as well. Big day at Royal Ascot, or Ascot, the British champions today. A day that you could have bet through NyraBets. As horses are making their way around. And we've only got actually 6 more days here at Belmont Park. Weather's supposed to be nice. No better place to spend an afternoon.
No, and the weather's supposed to be nice. We should finally get in some more turf racing, which we've been missing for a lot of this meet. Coming out to Belmont Park, it's going to be a quintessential fall final week at Belmont.
I agree. 60 turf races lost, but the weather looks good, so hopefully we'll be good to go. The one horse, Bluegrass Cat Smile, going out for Charlie Baker with Mike Luzzy.
He is the outsider in this race, has been soundly defeated by a number of today's rivals.
Another long shot, but one who might have a little bit of a chance, goes out for trainer Ray Handel. That's Calculated Risker, Javier Castellano.
He gets a real class test today, but Ray Handel has him in the best form of his career.
Certainly one of the speeds in this race, Control Group, second last year, Irad Ortiz and Rudy Rodriguez.
He's been in great form this year, but can he deal with other speed in this race?
Can you dig it? Junior Alvarado, Jimmy Jerkins.
Wants every part of the 9 furlong distance, got the perfect trip last time. Will he get the pace again today?
The number 6 horse Evaluator goes out for Mike Dilger, John Velasquez.
He's going to need a total pace meltdown, but he is an improving 3-year-old.
A long shot who I think has a chance to make his presence felt is the improved Why Not, Manny Franco riding for George Weaver.
His last 2 races are better than they seem, but can he get the 9 furlong distance?
Horse who can get the 9 furlong distance is the 8 Seafoam, the 3-year-old, going out for Christophe Clement and Joel Rosario.
Another horse that seems to be in the best form of his career, and he can stalk the pace.
Another horse with speed, and let me tell you, he's a long shot, but he has some talent. We're waiting for the 10. Hit it once more, Gary Siaka and Raji Mirage.
He's run some fast races this year, but he's one that might need the lead to win.
The favorite, Pat in in the back. He's making his way out the racetrack. That's the 10, bat in the back. Dylan Davis and Jeremiah Engelhardt.
He's proficient at a number of distances, can really utilize any running style. He's a very dangerous favorite.
The speedy Mr. Buff on the outside for John Kimmel with David Cullen.
Another one of the many speed horses in this race. At his best, he's fast enough to be competitive here, but he needs the right trip.
7 horses in the Empire Showcase, Empire Classic, are part of the starter loyalty program. 2 of them going for 7.5% of the bonus. A lot of bonuses up for grabs, and that's just if they win. There's more in other spots as well. That NYRA starter loyalty program, yet another reason to get involved in racing at the New York Racing Association. Jeff Canizzo, brother of Dave Canizzo, is standing by with Maggie in the paddock.
Andy, I thought I was going to do that, as I am here with Jeff Canizzo, Executive Director of the New York Thoroughbred Breeders. And Jeff, as Andy was just mentioning, this loyalty program, there are several horses on this card, including 8 stakes for Empire Showcase Day, that are eligible for it.
It's a pretty neat program. It's something that we're trying here for the first time in New York to give further incentive for people to race here in the state. I believe there's roughly about 50 horses today that we're running for more percentage of purse money just by being a part of it.
And New York breds, they continue to achieve and overachieve as we are gearing up for the Breeders' Cup. We were just talking about 3 years ago, we saw Laverdad win the Iroquois and go on to run second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. But we have a nice lineup heading into the Breeders' Cup. Talk a little bit about what we could see there.
So it's special, right? Because now you have state-bred horses that are literally in every division. So, you look at the Classic, you have Mind Your Biscuits, depending on where he runs, Giant Expectations, 4-Star Crook, Disco Partner, the list goes on and on. There's some 2-year-olds that are going to be a part of it. But I think at the end of the day, it's the fact that there's so many of them in all of the divisions, which, really showcases where the whole program is going.
I was going to say, it's grown exponentially. Just talk about the development over the years of the New York Breeders' Association.
So, really since 2011, we've seen such strides on the racetrack, and that's really what everything is measured off of, how successful we are. And when you have horses that are running, beyond state-bred races like today in open company and every single Saturday in graded races around the country, it's pretty special, and that's a testament to the people and quality of breeding that's happening here in New York.
Which included a 1-2 finish in one of our most historic races here at NYRA, the Whitney, with Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Andy.
Thanks, Maggie. Great to hear from Jeff Canizzo as well. Joe Applebaum will be joining us as well to talk about that Star Loyalty program and other things, other great stuff going on at NYRA as we're getting ready to head over to our winter home, Aqueduct, in just a couple of weeks. The number 7, Why Not? You've mentioned concerns about the 9 furlong distance. Understandable, but I think this is a horse that has really improved in 2018.
Yeah, since he's come back off the layoff for George Weaver, he's run some of the best races of his career. He actually was taken out of his best running style, too, back in the Evan Schiffman to go after Control Group. Last time he didn't get the right pace scenario. There's a scenario where he can do very well in this race, but stamina is a concern.
Yeah, I think he's a horse that Manny Franco just has to sort of relax and just hope that the trip works out for him. Not do anything crazy to try to win. Just kind of hope that he falls into the right spot. And I think that could happen because tactically he can be well placed.
Yeah, he can be up close to the pace, but he also has a good finish when he is able to sit the right trip.
What about the long shot calculated risker? Ray Handel's really come to hand. He's really having a terrific year. I don't know if he's quite good enough, but he has that one big figure 3 back behind Can You Dig It at Aqueduct.
This was a really shrewd claim because Ray said that he claimed him to stretch him out in distance, and it's really worked for this horse. His 2 races going 9 furlongs and 2 of his last 3 starts have been the best of his career. I don't know if he's quite classy enough to beat this field, but he could run a really nice race today.
Interesting he's running this race off a 3-month layoff. Remember before his last start, and I had picked him last time, and Ray said to me, well after I picked him, he said to me, you got the winner here. He's going to win this race, and he was dead right. He ran well. A horse that's getting a little overlooked considering how fast he is at times, and maybe he'll get burned up in the pace, is Hit It Once More. But on his day, this horse has a lot of talent.
Yeah, I mean, he ran a very fast speed figure 2 back at Finger Lakes, and even prior to that, he was not far behind Pat on the Back and Why Not in that Saginaw Stakes. He's 19-1 right now. He could be a player in this race. given his best performance. The problem is that he's a horse that might need the lead, and with Mr. Buff to his outside, it's hard to imagine he gets up front, all by himself.
Yeah, I mean, Regime Mirage just has one thing he has to do, and that's just go to the front. Now, Maggie had mentioned with Mr. Buff that they're not intent upon necessarily having the lead. They just want to have him forwardly placed, but he's got to be breathing down the neck of Hit It Once More.
The thing about Mr. Buff is I don't think he really likes to be in a duel with horses. He runs his best races when he's able to totally control on the front end, and I'm not sure he's going to get to do that today. So we'll see if he's quite good enough to win this race without an ideal setup.
And Irad Ortiz, while often he's a very patient rider, he's got to be somewhat aggressive with Control Group towards the inside.
Control Group is a big question mark to me in this race because he really does have the lead in almost all of his races. We really don't know if he can rate, and he might have to do it today. We'll see.
And he's one of these horses that they really feel he's a better two-turn horse, but he ran so well in last year's Empire Classic, though not necessarily as fast as some of his two-turn races.
Well, I think one of the reasons he's good around two turns is the fact that those races often feature slower paces, and he can sort of get into a steady gallop, set a slower pace, and that's not going to be the case today.
Well, and that's a good point because you look at the pace in last year's Empire Classic, it was relatively slow, 48, 112, and 1. It is highly unlikely we're going to see a pace that is as slow as 48 to the half today.
No, as long as all of the main contenders break out of the gate promptly, there's supposed to be a hot pace in this race.
I agree. It's hard to believe his pace won't be probably faster than 47 and a half. Horses are loading in the gate. There are still just a few horses behind the gate. We see the number 9 Hit It Once More going in the gate. The 8 Pat on the Back, who is currently the 9-5 favorite, getting ready to load. Larry Colmus has the call of the Empire Classic.
Just one left to go in now as Mr. Buff comes up to the outside stall to complete the line here. He's in the white cap and goes in. They're all in line. They're off in the Empire Classic in an awkward start for Bluegrass Cat Smile at the back of the field as Seafoam goes out to the front with Mr. Buff. It's these two with the most early foot, and then it's Pat on the Back on the outside away running in third position. Why Not his fourth. They're followed by Hit It Once More, and then Can You Dig It Control Group, and right behind them, Calculated Risker, Bluegrass Cat Smile, and Late Running Evaluator trails the field. The first quarter, 24.46 seconds as Seafoam leads them up the backstretch, 3/4 of a length. Mr. Buff is running in second. And now Splitting Horses Hit It Once More grabs third. Pat on the Back on the outside, fourth. Why Not back in fifth, and racing 5 lengths off the lead and guided outside. Break of another 3 lengths more back to Can You Dig It? Control Group, Bluegrass Cat Smile, Calculated Risker is next, and Evaluator is last through a 47.94 half mile. So they race into the far turn, and Seafoam is the leader, and Mr. Buff is right on alongside, a half length behind with a half mile to run. Pat on the Back is 2 lengths off of them. Hit It Once More is down on the inside. Why Not now comes under a ride in fifth, 4 lengths off the front. Right behind them, Can You Dig It? In Control Group, and it's a big gap back to Calculated Risker, who just went by. Bluegrass Cat Smile, Evaluator still at the back of the pack. Mr. Buff, Seafoam, and Pat on the Back, and the 3 of them turn for home after 3/4 in 1:12:03, and they're into the stretch. And here's Pat on the Back on the outside of Mr. Buff. These two at the 8th pole, Pat on the Back to the front. Mr. Buff is second. On the scene late is Can You Dig It on the outside, and they're followed by Why Not down the center, but it is Pat on the Back. Pat on the Back and Dylan Davis coming home on top in the Empire Classic. And that was Can You Dig It, followed by Mr. Buff and Why Not.
Well, the pace never materialized when Hit It Once More didn't get out of the gate, but that just put Pat in the Back in the catbird seat and a huge win for Dylan Davis.
No, one of the big concerns was that these horses with tactical speed would have to go too fast. That was not the case at all. Pat on the Back was up close. We talked about his versatility before the race. He's a horse that could sit that position. And yeah, Dylan Davis gave this horse a perfect ride. He just showed up today with his top effort, and that was good enough to beat this field.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really, really nice horse, and Dylan rides him so well. So happy to see Dylan get a big win. He's just done a great job with this horse, as is Jeremiah Englehart as well. And we talked about it before. At the end of the day, he's just the best horse, and he got the right trip, and he got it done. I think Can You Dig It ran very well to be second when you consider this pace was the opposite of last time, and he still delivered.
No, because they took him back early. He's really the only horse that came from that far back to be, in the mix at the end of this race. I thought he ran very well. Pat on the Back, he's a horse that likes Empire Showcase Day. He actually won the Sleepy Hollow as a 2-year-old, just missed in the Hudson last year. This year he wins the Empire Classic.
Yeah, no, I agree. he's really done well, and he really, I mean, Ken McPhee did a nice job with him, but this is a horse that has seriously stepped forward for trainer Jeremiah Englehart.
Yeah, it's really made a big difference this year. We saw, a team tip his hand that he was a new horse this year when he was the close nose second to Diversify and that commentator at the start of the year. And he's just done nothing but move forward since then. He got the 1.1 mile distance. It wasn't a problem around 1 turn today. And he's just a really nice horse. And he's only 4 years old, so we could see more of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, onwards and upwards for this horse. I'll tell you something. You have to think the Connections are thinking about a race like the Grade 1 Cigar Mile, which will fit him like a glove. He's got a break. Everybody's running the Breeders' Cup. 6 weeks until that race. We'll see more of him.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to see how that field comes up, but sometimes horses skip that race. He's certainly run some faster speed figures. He's done okay against open company in the past. I wouldn't be opposed to him taking a shot there.
Yeah, no, it would be interesting to see what they do, but a big win today, the $300,000 Empire Classic. Dylan Davis, Jeremiah Englehart team up for a big win with pat in the back for his Connections. More to come.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Phasing Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park. Always a scary time, Halloween, for Mitch Levitas, the director of our show. He usually hides in his house. Nice to see the pumpkins. Nice to see the kids enjoying Halloween. A lot of good stuff happening at Belmont Park. Nice to see the families out at Belmont Park. A great place to spend the afternoon. It was a great place for Dylan Davis and also the Star Loyalty bonus. How about that? 2 of the winners today have enjoyed being part of that Star Loyalty bonus. $8,250 extra for pat in the back and his Connections. A decisive winner, a perfect trip winner of the Empire Classic.
Yeah, big day for his owner, who also had the winner of the Hudson earlier with Runaway Loot, taking down 2 stakes races today. Really nice horse, pat on the back.
Yeah, he's a good horse. He has done very, very well, and Maggie is standing by with the Connections.
And here with his owner, Mr. Harold Lerner, and pat on the back, turn the tables here today on Can You Dig It and taking down the Classic. I'm sure this feels like a victory for sure for you.
It was fabulous. He loves the racetrack. Dylan was great on him. He moved him just at the right time. And he really provided us with a huge thrill today. Very, very happy. He's a really hard-knocking horse. Interestingly enough, I said this earlier, Runaway Loot and this horse came out of the same Saratoga sale. So between the 2 of them, they've earned close to $1 million out of that sale. We're a big supporter of New York breds, and we're really, really happy with this horse. We moved him up here from Kentucky where Kenny had him. And because he's a New York bred, we wanted him up here. Jeremiah has mentioned maybe at one point we try him in open company, but he's just a really hard-knocking horse, and he showed us a lot of grit and a lot of heart today, and we're very fortunate to have him.
And he absolutely does. And also, talk about your loyalty to Dylan Davis. He seems to fit this horse like a glove.
Well, he belongs to Dylan, and he's Dylan to us, and very happy with Dylan, obviously. And, you know, the combination's tremendous, so we're really, really happy with the way everything has turned out.
You should be very happy with the whole day, indeed, with two stakes wins.
The whole day's mind-boggling for me and my partners. We just had an incredible, incredible day today. It's something you kind of dream about, and usually those dreams don't happen, but today they did.
Well, savor it and enjoy it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, Andy, big smiles here in the winner's circle.
Thanks so much, Maggie, and great to see Harold Lerner in the winner's circle, a guy who's really one of the good guys around the racetrack and a big part of the game, and couldn't be happier for him. 2 wins today, including your favorite horse earlier today as well, Runaway Loot. A lot of good stuff going on here. Want to remind people, Run Happy is currently standing in the famous Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm, the home of many great champions in the past. And Run Happy was a champion himself, an unbelievable sprinter, putting together those wins in the King's Bishop, now the Allen Jerkins, the Phoenix, the Breeders' Cup Sprint, as well as the Grade 1 Malibu. Ran drug-free the whole time in his career. An amazing horse. Look at him in the paddock having a great time. You can breed to him at Claiborne Farm. Run Happy. He's the star of the show. Big 4 follow-along, well, some relatively short prices, but still, I think the payoffs are reasonably good. You and I both couldn't get the first winner home, though.
Yeah, it's going to pay decently because the first race was so wide open behind Dugout. So bank it, being 5-1 in that race, I think he'll pay okay. In the last race, it's a little bit wide open. I mean, it's an off-the-turf race, but there are many dirt horses that can win.
No, I agree. I am surprised to see, looking at some pick 3s, that maybe the number 16 horse in this race, Out of Orbit, who did not run well at a short price, is favored. Thought that the favorite would probably be the 4 Starlight Mission for Gary Contessa, but horses like the 7 Newport Breeze, as well as the 12 Puffery, are players in this race as well. 7 of them left as we are off the turf.
Yeah, Starlight Mission has been just in great form. She's been in a lot of common races with Out of Orbit lately. Out of Orbit, as you said, did not perform last time, whereas Starlight Mission is in great form right now, but Starlight Mission will need some pace help up front.
Yeah, he will need some pace. That's a very good point. Joe Applebaum, current president of NYTHA. Now, Joe will be joining us in the set in just a few minutes, but we also want to catch up with him and hear what he has to say. Joe Applebaum and NYTHA, featured here on Belmont Park Live.
NYTHA represents the owners and trainers. The owners obviously own the horses. So, yeah, in negotiating or managing the relationship with NYRA, who runs the tracks, we're a little like a players' union, but also like an owner's rep. We also represent the trainers, right, who sometimes have divergent, but mostly have similar goals as the owner. However, our biggest goal, our biggest mission is supporting our backstretch workers. 2/3 of our budget and almost all of our efforts go to helping the guys who work here on the backstretch, the guys who are taking care of the horses. So we fund and help manage a medical clinic for them. We have a scholarship program for their children. We have English language classes. We have recreation programs for them. So we have a full range of services, and close to $2 million a year is being spent on these guys and women. We do go to Albany and lobby for our concerns, and we do sit with NYRA and negotiate things like purse levels and things like that. Those are all true, but really at the core of what we're doing is supporting our workers. I think our industry has come a tremendously long way in the last 5 to 10 years. We just don't want horses out in a pasture somewhere grazing around. You want them doing something so they feel useful and that their human counterparts have use for them so that they're supported properly. We really work hard here to get them into second careers. One area we're getting into that's a bit new is we're really trying to attract new people to the game. So if you don't own a horse, here's my pitch. It's great fun, it's great excitement, there's thrills, there's despair, and everything else that makes life worth living. So if you're interested, give us a call at the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. We'd love to teach you how to own a horse, the ins and outs, the pitfalls, and how to make it a sustainable experience for you. we know how hard it is to survive at the track. We know it's a great challenge. We know many of us don't make money while racing our horses, but let's give our owners a great value, great utility. They get to see their horses run. They keep them in training longer. That will attract more people, because attracting new owners is really the lifeblood of this sport. I think the other is the gamblers. Are we providing them with the tools? Are we providing them with the means to compete with other wagering and entertainment industries? We're all here because we love this. We love the game. Some people love the animal more than the action. Others love the action more than the animal. But we're all here because we love it, and we could be off doing other things, spending our time. And we have a team that's committed and works hard, and it's really great.
Always great to hear from Joe Applebaum. We had an exciting finish in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and a horse that certainly took advantage of that loyalty program. That was Discreet Lover winning the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Joe Applebaum will be joining us on the set when Belmont Park Live continues.
What I like most about our Run Happy weanling is from day one, he's always been a very quality individual. Once you turn him loose in the field, he's all man and stands out. You put a lead rope on him and bring him back in. He's an absolute gentleman to be around.
Arabian Song's foal really stands out. She's been conformationally issue-free, probably the most leg that any of her foals have had.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Soft got to turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
The Brooklyn Bridge, a beautiful day on the Brooklyn Bridge. A lot of people walking across it, a lot of people driving across it. Of course, the Brooklyn Bridge connects Brooklyn with downtown Manhattan. One of the few freeways to cross, actually, from Manhattan into the boroughs. Belmont Park Live continues. I am so excited to have my good friend Joe Applebaum up here. Been a great Empire Showcase day today, hasn't it?
It's been lovely. Everything the best you can say about Belmont. Great weather, little fall foliage, awesome New York breds on the track.
I agree. We got lucky with the weather, especially the way it's been. And the the loyalty program, the Superfecta in the Empire Classic.
A natural super in the Empire Classic. It was great to see. Horses that have been running at NYRA tracks all year long performed out there in our biggest race for New York breds.
And talk about the program and what it's meant to racing and what it can do for us and do for also our connections.
Well, I think it's really exciting. Steve Dunker, one of our board members, pushed for it. Martin Pans and his team put together a great program. We currently have 500 horses that have qualified for this program, and the more they run, the more they earn, they get bonus rewards. Just like your credit card, 5%, 10%, up to 15%. It's real money throughout the winter.
And I can tell you that number was 350 before today. I think it's over 400,000 after today because we've seen an awful lot given away today.
For sure. And I think a really important point of this program is it started April 1st and it runs through March 31st. So it really rewards the horses that are going to run for the next 5 months.
And we want people to run in New York. I mean, we've got so many opportunities here. And talk about what it can do to help out with workman's comp as well as the backstretch workers here at NYRA.
Well, there's a couple things that are going on. One, the more horses that start, the more money they earn, the easier that workers' comp burden is for everyone. And I'm here to tell you that the work comp situation in New York is getting better. Last year, we dropped the jockey work comp insurance 9%. This year, we're going to drop the trainer's work comp insurance 14%. So I'm talking to the owners and trainers out there who I want you to know this situation's getting better. We have a $300 per start credit at Aqueduct. That's every time you run. Every trainer, every owner gets at least $300 to help defray those costs. We're working hard to bring down the upfront costs of work comp for you starting in January 1. So we know New York has great purses. We know sometimes it's a tough and expensive place to do business, but NYTHA and NYRA working together are really trying to bring those costs down.
No, I agree. It'll be a terrific winter here at Aqueduct. It's not going to be winter. I mean, I'll tell you something. I would argue that one of the best months of racing of the entire year is when we first get to Aqueduct. And we've got a new turf course. They redid the whole inner turf course.
They sure did. I think you're going to be really impressed with it. I think it's going to hold up under the weather. And it gives us 2 turf courses. I can see everyone's looking at these beautiful turf courses now. But look at that expansive green. What other tracks in the country have something like that, let alone in the Northeast?
No, I'm looking forward to getting there. Of course, we had the new outer course last year, and it was great because it brought back the turf sprinters. And that's something we've lost a lot. That's a big part of our program, and we can run those now on the outer turf course.
You sure can. You can run them. It gives us the opportunity to run different distances and different configurations that aren't always the case. And I think it's important, if I could kind of pivot off that, Andy, to a point I think is really impressive. For an owner and trainer, the ability to run at Aqueduct really makes dollars and cents common sense. Let's didn't mean that alliteration, but considering the
that
purses,
was a sad moment.
Yes, it was. Considering the amount that we run for, what it takes to win those races against other tracks, we're the value proposition in this game.
I agree.
You can run in southern climbs for 25% less. You can run in the Midwest against 12 and 14.
But you don't get to hang out with you and I unless you come to the Big A. So come visit us at Aqueduct. Joe, thanks so much for joining us, of course. And
absolutely.
We'll see you last week at Belmont, but see you at Aqueduct as well. We're riding the A train together. Maggie Wolfendale. The Paddock Report is brought to you by Hillendale, currently standing Curlin for $150,000.
Thank you, Andy. And we'll check in with a filly who is going second time out here for trainer George Weaver, and that is number 7, Newport Breeze. Was interested in checking her out on the turf, but she's not going to get to do that today. But I love the way this filly looks. I think her form doesn't speak to the fact that she's doing extremely well, at least by my standards, what I can make out here in the paddock. She's forward, she's nicely on the bridle, she's carrying her weight well. This is the best I've ever seen her look, and I wouldn't be surprised if she can build upon that effort last time out in the A other than. As we'll move on to one of 2 horses that were entered for the main track, and that includes number 15, Robin's Destiny, who will make her first start for trainer Danny Gargan. And she, kind of like Newport News, is one of the slower looking horses in this field as far as form is concerned, but I'm intrigued to see what Danny does with her. She comes back in here, she is sharp off the layoff, and she's very fit, and I love what I'm seeing from her. This is a filly that, I'm not all that familiar with because she did a lot of running up at Finger Lakes, but prior to those Finger Lakes starts, she was very kind of a quiet type of individual, and today she is bouncing around here on her toes. I'm excited to see what she can do here, Andy.
All right. All right, Maggie, good to hear that stuff in the paddock. And this race, of course, is off the turf, but there are a number of contenders, and Maggie's even throwing in the number 15, Robin's Destiny. We'll see what she can do in here. And I'll tell you something, it's not as though Robin's Destiny, who's going out first time for Danny Gargan, doesn't have races that are fast enough to compete.
Yeah, when she was in Charlton Baker's barn prior to this, she actually ran some speed figures that would put her in the mix here. She was just very inconsistent. Maybe she can run a top race for Danny Gargan, and if she does, she's in the mix here.
I agree. Now, listen, Danny does a sensational job, but Charlie Baker's very good as well. Not easy to improve a horse, but maybe he doesn't need to improve her if he can get her to run her best race.
Yeah, she's shown some hints of ability in the past, but, you know, it's not like there's no good horses in this off-the-turf race. She's got to beat some serious dirt horses.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, even the 16 Out of Orbit, who disappointed badly at 35 cents a dollar last time, but she was chasing 3 wide that day, and horses that were on the outside off the rail were at an extreme disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn about that last race because she was badly against the track, but it was also a very weak field, and she should have done better. There was no way that she should have lost to the winner of that race.
I agree. 4 of the remaining horses are eligible for starter loyalty, 2 at 7.5%. So you can see those bonuses, almost $2,000 and $3,000 for 4 of the players if they're winners, but also second, third, and fourth as well. So you can participate. Just another reason to participate in the racing here at the New York Racing Association. The 11th race, the horses are heading onto the track off the turf at 7 furlongs. One of the horses to beat is the 4 Starlight Mission, Junior Alvarado riding for the white-hot Gary Contessa.
A deserving slight current favorite. She's just in the best form of all of these, but she needs some pace help up front.
And we'll see how much pace she gets. And here, one horse that is not going to be part of the pace in all likelihood is the 7 Newport Breeze, John Velasquez riding for George Weaver.
She was a precocious 2-year-old, but she hasn't really gone on since then. Needs to get back into her best form.
The 9 horse, Tis a Kitten, a horse I know you liked in the turf, but she can run a little bit on the dirt.
Despite being a daughter of turf sire Kitten's Joy, her dirt form is actually okay. She's stepping up into allowance company out of claiming races.
We'll move on out to the 12 Puffery, who gets a little distance relief, Javier Castellano and Mark Hennig.
Needs to find an identity because 1 1/8 is a bit too far for her. 6 furlongs maybe a bit too short, but she's got talent.
Nobody has covered the pick 6. We'll have a carryover regardless of who wins, but this one could blow up any multi-race bet. Tiffany's Freud for Leo O'Brien and Brandon Boulanger.
Hard to make on paper. She's really more of a turf horse and not even that good on that surface.
The number 15 Robin's Destiny we talked about moved into Danny Gargan's barn, Jose Lezcano.
7 furlongs seems like the right distance, and her best races do make her competitive.
On the outside, the number 16, Out of Orbit, Luis Saez riding for Phil Serpy.
If she can recover from that poor effort last time out, she's a major contender in this race, but she's got some questions to answer.
That rounds out the field for the 11th and final race here today on Belmont Park Live, as well as Belmont Empire Showcase Day. We'll be back as the horses will head to the gate on Belmont Park Live.
New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back to in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record-setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. Nothing better than a little bouncy bounce in the backyard. The kids enjoy the day at Belmont Park. An Empire Showcase Day. It's been a really terrific day. Wonderful weather. David Aragona, Maggie Wolfendale, and Andy Serling joining you from Belmont Park. Off the turf to close things out at 7 furlongs. But our gate crew, who does a better job? Who's a tougher job than a gate crew?
Yeah, really unheralded stars of what we do out here because, you know, so many races go off without a hitch, and it's all due to their expertise.
I know. I totally agree. They do an amazing job all around. We're looking at 2 horses we're interested in. Both you and I like the number 12 in here, Puffery. Maggie likes the 15 horse, Robin's Destiny. Puffery, will less distance help her chances?
If you're looking at speed figures, she seems a bit slower than horses like Starlight Mission and Out of Orbit, but I think 7 furlongs might be the ideal distance for her because she's gone longer in recent starts. It's been a little too far for her. Prior starts, she just didn't get into races going shorter. I'm hoping the 7 furlongs is the answer.
Well, I am hoping that is the case as well. The 16 Out of Orbit, she's got to bounce back. I hate to see horses lose like that, and I agree with you. You're starting to wonder. She's 1 for 11. Now, they're all 1 for horses, but last time out, man, I know she's against the track, but she never picked it up.
She really came to life at Saratoga. She had Starlight Mission's number in those races, and since then, since getting back to Belmont, it just seems like her form has gone south a little bit. I know she was against the bias last time, but I wonder if she's going in the wrong direction.
No, I think it's a very reasonable question, but she was against the track, and I think it's something that it's very hard to quantify. It's just very hard because not only does it help horses that are on the inside, but I think it hinders the progress of horses who are on the outside. The horses on the outside are loading into the gate one last time. Larry Colmus, the voice of the New York Racing Association.
Out of Orbit takes the outside stall, and they're all in line. They're off. Out of Orbit hopped in the air at the break and was off to a slow beginning. A good start for Starlight Mission, who goes out to the early lead. Newport Breeze goes with her. Tis a Kitten is third on the outside by 2.5. And they're followed by Robin's Destiny up the backstretch. Then Puffery, Tiffany's Freud, and to the far outside, Out of Orbit at the back of the pack after that beginning. As they continue up the backstretch, Starlight Mission on top. Runs the first quarter in 23.73 seconds. Newport Breeze second and draws up alongside and now pokes ahead in front. Then it's Tis a Kitten. Out of Orbit is moved up into fourth on the outside while going wide at the half-mile pole. Then comes Puffery. And they're followed by Robin's Destiny. Tiffany's Freud is the trailer. Around the far turn, Newport Breeze, Starlight Mission, Tis a Kitten, and a 4 wide Out of Orbit. They're across the track after a 47.18 half mile. And Puffery is right in behind that wall of 4. And they're being followed by Robin's Destiny. Tiffany's Freud is the trailer as they come to the top of the stretch. Newport Breeze turns for home in front. Starlight Mission on the inside tries to battle on. Out of Orbit, Puffery on the far outside. Tis a Kitten has given way. They're coming into the final furlong here with Newport Breeze in front. On the inside, Starlight Mission battles on second. These 2, 1-2 coming down to the line. Newport Breeze is gonna do it. Starlight Mission was second. Puffery was third. Out of Orbit was fourth.
It's just amazing. Both David and I were talking about how both Starlight Mission and Newport Breeze would need some help up front. Well, they got it because they were up front.
Yeah, you could have like flip-flopped the field at the beginning. They were supposed to be at the back of the pack. They were at the front of the pack. They both got perfect trips. And Newport Breeze, you know, she had run okay in her recent starts, but hadn't really recaptured her form as a 2-year-old. She put it together today.
Yeah, it does feel like she really ran a good race here. And, you know, Starlight Mission ran well. Puffery didn't break. Out of Orbit didn't break. It put him behind the 8 ball, and it changed the dynamics. And 2 horses that might just be better than them were able to waltz along in the front end.
Yeah, Puffery was a little compromised by dynamics because she had a ton of horses behind horses on the turn and had to swing widest of all, but she didn't, you know, the top 2, they just ran away from her at the end. They might have been the best horses.
I agree. The pace may have been slow, but they finished well ahead of the other horses. The 7, Newport Breeze, John Velasquez and George Weaver closing it out on Empire Showcase Day. Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, our special Empire Showcase edition. Fine job, by the way, David Aragona filling in today. Paula Duke, unfortunately, not able to join us, but David did a great job filling in.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
It really was. Great having you here. Of course, Maggie did her usual great job. We sometimes overlook what a tremendous job she does day in and day out for us here at the New York Racing Association. But just a fun day of racing. It's always one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah, watching New York racing year-round, it's always great to see the New York Breds get the spotlight, and we saw some really nice performances this afternoon.
We really did. I mean, the stars delivered today. We saw some minor upsets. We saw some two-year-olds on the improve, but we saw some very nice horses, including Pat in the back. The Naira Betts Late Pick 5 is going to be coming back on Wednesday, October 24th, back by popular demand. And remember, the only way to play it if you're not in New York State is to play it through Naira Betts. Head over to Naira Betts, sign up, use Belmont Live, the promo code, and sign up for your bonus. Javier Castellano, a huge day for him today, but Newport Breeze, 1180 to close it out.
Nice performance by her, almost a $12 win payout on one of the top dirt horses in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting it done. 7-4-12 to close out the day. Javier had to settle for third, but he's on his way to 6,000 wins. Great day here of racing. We appreciate everybody joining us as well. And really, so much going on. $328 for the pick 4 as well. No huge prices, and you got $328 for 50 cents. Javier Castellano, the star of the day with his 5,000th career victory. But there were plenty of stars as well. Bonita Bianca winning the Empire Distaff and winning it decisively. There she is in the winner's circle with her happy connections. Pat in the back. Dominated. A great year for him with the New York Breds. For everybody here at the New York Racing Association, have a wonderful evening.